Hi, this is Igor from SOUND4 and we are now in Moscow in company Perspectiva with our partner SOUND4 and Mike will be assisting me today.
Hi there.
Alright, so we now here a small setup of our products, the SOUND4 products, and so it's running the audio from Digispot 2 automation into the Synergy Mini digital mixing console and to our SOUND4 processors. Alright, so what we got here again? So here is already three processors from SOUND4. Two of these processors, the big boys and the Impact, is already well known to the society, to the community, and is already acclaimed products, high quality products. And this is the new one that we just started shipping now. What are the difference between the older platform, the Impact platform, and the new one? So, of course, we have a front panel controls. We no longer have level indicators, which is when your processor is at the transmission side, you don't see it anywhere. However, we can have an access to the all functionality of the processor, to all the menu, to all the most of the parameters using front panel display and these control buttons and this navigation buttons as well. So we also have our USB port for the upgrades, and we also have our headphones connector, which allows us to connect this connector to the audio from input or output. You can define it by the settings. So the most important and most interesting change is actually on a back panel. So first off, we don't have here two power supplies, which allows us to significantly reduce the price of the unit. However, it's still the professional high-grade power supply, and we of course have a grounding connector. We no longer have three RJ45 connectors. We have only two. We don't have a dedicated IP-Codec connector, but we still have separated audio over IP, Livewire, and Ravenna and Dante AES-67 fully compliant AES-67 input and output, and a separate remote control and admin connector. Additionally, we of course have an SD card and for our emergency player, and I will mention it later and explain how it works later. So the most important question: how do you input and output the audio from to the processor? So this is this big connector we have here. So with each of our processors, we supply this funny tail, this breakout cable. So this is allow you to have your balanced analog inputs, balanced digital outputs, and of course you have dedicated two separate MPX outputs, including your sub-carrier input and a sync input. So all on this cable, which looks maybe not really unusual, but it still has all your balanced inputs and outputs. We no longer have additional analog input, we no longer have additional digital output, which is not every customer needs. However, we always still have two inputs and outputs on our AES-67 channel into the out to the processor. So let's connect the back to our audio. So I'm connecting breakout cables, connect our AES digital input from mixing console, and I'll connect to the power so we can see how fast our DSP platform starts. So just as you see right now, it's in a pulse mode, but as usual, you can buy the software, just buy the license, upgrade this processor to the most high quality in the top of the line of our processor to the Impact mode. So it again takes just a few seconds, and now you see the audio is up and running. We're sending our composite output. We're already playing it out. So this starts extremely fast. So this is what is very important about this processor. So, and the next, let's talk about the remote controls. Okay, so here we have our processor, and here we connected we connected now to the Eco processor in the impact in the 6-band mode. So, and of course, the first way of controls, of remote controls our processor, besides from the front power controls, we have the web interface. The web interface and the software. So you can have web interface based on HTML5, which is absolutely not depending on operating system, not depending on a browser. You could even use a mobile phone to control it. And so on this web interface, you have most important controls. You have your inputs routing, you have your levels, you see when your main source playing, your backup playing. You can change all these parameters. You have your outputs controls, your output MPX, and you can change the presets from the, say, you can go to the bypass, you can change any presets you work with right now. It all happens quickly here in the real time. You can see all the levels displayed here, 6-band processing. So all the important indicators is here. Of course, in the bottom, you already see we implemented the loudness measurement if you are 128 measurements. Additionally, you see your DBRs, what is your MPX power, and the new stuff here is your web monitor. Now, using this web interface, you can listen to your processor remotely. You have a set of the encoding protocols, which is MP3, Opus, or lossless FLAC encoding protocols. You can change the bit rate, and you can define what the patch point you're listening inside the processor. You can listen to any input and to any output. And this goes right into your remote control device, to your PC. So just play button is here. You press the play button, wait a little bit until it buffers. And now we hear the music. Of course, as we change the bypass, you will hear immediately how the processing affects your audio. So in a real time, you can listen to any changes you do with your processor, any changes when you are changing the presets, you're changing levels, you're changing anything within your processor. You can listen it right away into your remote control device. Additionally, of course, you can have your setup controls here. So you can change the name, you can change, you can do a backup, the restore, and very important here is this is where you upload your license for your options for, say, when you're buying RDS, when you buy other options. And this is the upgrade system is where you upload the software, the updates, the software updates, and this is where you upload the upgrade from Pulse to the Impact. And that's basically all you need to do. Just upgrade to upgrade it. Just upload Impact software and upload the licenses, and this is all you need to do. So because we have lots of different maintenance and the log success functionality for the support, and you have even a network diagnostics here, and you can define the NTP server here. So this is all the useful controls you have here in the web interface. We're always constantly developing the functionality of our devices. So in the future, we hope we will have absolutely full controls, including the preset parameters using the web interface. Additionally, you can just download a remote control software right from the processor. So if you are in a closed network, you don't need to go to the internet to download the latest version of the remote control software for our processor. It sits right there in the processor. You just download it using the web interface. And of course, you can listen to the technical parameters like fan speeds, the temperature mode. You check the serial number, you see the version that you will, just in case, message to us to help you with the support. So all these accessible from the remote control from the web interface. But the most controls available is in our remote control software. So this is what you see when you have our remote control software running on your PC. So you have still have the full access for the 6-band controls, advanced or simple ones. You can change it, all the parameters, see and change all the parameters here right away. Your stereo enhancer, your inputs and outputs, you can monitor your backup inputs, you can monitor your mine inputs. We don't see a big matrix of the inputs and outputs we had into our previous version, but you still, using the setup, can define which input have the most important priority. Here's where we have our special silence detector, which turns in the backup inputs in case if one of the inputs, mine inputs, goes out. So this is where you can easily define it. You have here the controls, so the voice smooth, you have a crossover settings here. So basically most of the parameters that had in previous the version of the Impact, of the big version of the Impact, still here, still accessible from here. Additionally, as remote controls, you still have very important, that's I didn't mention that. Just look on the GPIO. We no longer have a physical GPIO in this processor. However, we still have a Livewire GPIO here. And additionally, we have our open protocol that's running over Telnet. So, and this is protocol called Link and Share. Right here under the About button, you have download Link and Share doc, which is comprehensive manual for this protocol that allows you to integrate your processor into your automation system of your facility. It's totally open. Scripting protocol allows you to control any parameter, any input, basically everything from your processor. Additionally, we of course have an MIB files for the SNMP monitoring of the processor, so anything goes out of the line on your SNMP monitoring system will tell you right away about it. Of course, additionally, we have, and this is not an option, we always supply our processor with the ability to process the audio for HD. So if you're operating in HD and DAB, or you are going to have streaming, and we of course offering a streaming option here is, this is the set of the parameters for your HD processing separately from the FM. So this is separate part of the processing chain according to the HD processing, digital radio processing. And of course streaming, you can have and still can have a streaming option, and this streaming option allows you to feed up to 6 destinations with a different protocol, the most modern protocol. So I can have here AC, MP3, HEAC, and additionally we already have Opus, Vorbis, and lossless FLAC, and all the modern protocols including adaptive HLS from Apple. This is all available here. This is where you can feed the metadata from your automation system. So on your apps on the mobile phones, when your listeners are listening to your radio, you can have the metadata, the song names fed from the automation system into your web stream. Of course, we can have the same kind of metadata onto RDS. So showing here the current PS is your processor can have a RDS encoder. You have 2 versions, all of them dynamic, so you can feed the dynamic metadata from the automation system. The one is so-called simple, basic version, or we have a full UACP encoder with all the emergency protocol, all the most compliant parameters for the RDS. We supply this processor with a 5-year warranty, so we still the same way reliable as we've been before. But this processor given an ability to pay about 30% less than a previous version. Keep this in mind. So I think I mentioned the most important information about the processor. Just in case you have any question, shoot me an email. My email is very simple, igor@sound4.com. I hope I was interesting, and just in case, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Bye.